Hey, we're live. Yes, we're live. It's Monday, the 9th of January. This year is just, it's flying by. My name is Sean Shapiro. This is Ask a Traffic Cop, where you get to ask me, the traffic cop, questions about traffic and police and stuff in general. We talk about things for an hour, different things. We don't just stick to one topic, but this is the beginning. This is the hello portion of the show, where we've already been talking to some folks on TikTok just about stuff and things, and we've got a couple of topics to discuss once we get going. I want to let you know that if you're watching on TikTok, use the Q&A functionality. If you're watching on Instagram, please use the Q&A functionality. It gives us a little question bubble, and as soon as we do that, we can put the question on the screen. If you're watching anywhere else, know that you can use, anywhere else with a caveat, except, why did I lose my screens? Hang on. I lost all my screens. Did we lose cameras? Why are we having loose connections? All right, I think we're still live. That was scary. My USB-C moved. So that totally threw me off. If you're watching anywhere but Twitter, know that we can actually see your comments, your questions. It'll show up on screen, and it's all one happy place. We get to go from there. If you are watching on Twitter, we can't actually see your comments. That's where I suggest you go to trafficcop.ca and choose one of our other platforms that we're currently casting onto, where I can see your questions. You can watch us all you like, but we can't see your questions, and we want to. This is an interactive show. It's Ask a Traffic Cop for a reason, because I answered. What can we talk about? Oh, we got Vision Zero. Actually, there's a bunch of things to talk about. There's Vision Zero as a starter. Vision Zero is the dedicated enforcement group at Traffic Services. They are out trying to change driver behavior one ticket at a time. It means that for folks who are choosing to engage in the Big Four, look out. These officers are looking for people who are choosing to speed, drive aggressively, drive distracted, or drive impaired. You know, they're doing stuff that we know leads to serious injury and death on our roads. So if you're one of those people, stop it. It's dangerous. There's no excuse. And you're going to get charged. You're going to get charged, and hopefully you get stopped and charged before you kill somebody or hurt somebody, because we know that's the result. That's what's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Okay. We have a Vision Zero enforcement team update every day. We know where they're going to be. We tell you every day on our Twitter, on our Instagram, Facebook. We update. It's open. We're not hiding anything. We know where we're going to be spending extra time. That's not to say that officers in those areas are not already spending time there, but we're spending more time there. We're augmenting. That's what we're doing. We're augmenting. Okay, today, 32 Division and 53 Division. Those are the communities of Rexdale, Jamestown, Martin Grove, Lawrence Park, Yonge and Eglinton, Rosedale, Leaside. Neighborhoods where real people live and deserve to be safe. Whether they live, work, play there, they deserve to be safe from you. So if you are one of the people who we're talking to when we say slow down, put the phone down, drive, calmly, nicely, whatnot, please, this is your wake-up call before somebody gets hurt. If you're not one of those people, thank you for being an amazing individual who does not drive dangerously, who does not partake in dangerous habits, and there's lots of them. Driving is that, I hate to sound preachy, driving is a privilege, and what we do when we give you tickets is we whittle down and give you points. Well, we don't. The courts do after you're convicted. And eventually we take your driver's license away, because if you're one of those, you don't deserve to be driving. We've got Richard, who says good morning. Chase, who likes the honeycomb style on our front page, our advert. It's actually the same pattern, just changing the colors up a bit. We got Ryan Pinn coming in from Nova Scotia, says good morning. Thoughts on yet another Toronto police show, Murdoch Mysteries. And Chase really does love that new thumbnail. But it's the new old thumbnail. But anyway, we'll talk about it more later. We have talked about that. Today, I'll get this out of the way because I think it's important. If you're involved in a motor vehicle collision, a minor one where police don't attend the scene, you go to a collision reporting center. New hours as of today, they're extended hours. You get 2 more hours in the day that you could attend a collision reporting center. Somewhere I have to go because I was involved in a collision on Friday afternoon on my way home. I was rear-ended by a taxi cab on the Don Valley Parkway. That was fun. Not. Anyway, I have to go to the collision reporting center, and now I have more time to do it. As of today, January 9th, 2023, they are now open from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m., 7 days a week. There's 2 locations that this applies to: the East Collision Reporting Center on 39 Howden Road in Scarborough, and the North Collision Reporting Center on 113 Tor York Drive in North York. flip a coin, see which one's better for you. Now, there is a third collision reporting center, but it is only for pedestrians and cyclists, and it's located right here in the building from which I attend every day for work. That's 9 Hannah Avenue. That's cyclists and pedestrians only, and you can start your report online and finish it here. But if you're, it's not that you're limited to 9 Hannah if you're a pedestrian or cyclist, but it's an additional option. The hours there haven't changed, though. Okay. And did police have to attend your collision? No. So talking about the qualifications, this is Chase asking the question. Chase is a regular, long-time listener. The answer is that if you don't have someone transported by ambulance and the vehicles, there's no criminality, no alcohol, no issues with insurance or identification, then you can go to a collision reporting center. You can be towed there. You can drive there if your vehicles can be driven safely. And that's a great way to go because you don't have to sit around and wait for police, and you don't have to then, you allow things to move along. And if you can drive your vehicle, you should drive your vehicle. If it's unsafe to drive your vehicle, take a tow to the collision reporting center. The collision reporting center pays for that tow. So you don't have to worry about whether it's going to cost you. Let's, did I talk about that? Misconceptions. I really want to talk to Sergeant Campbell about that. But someone asked what our favorite misconceptions about traffic laws are. And one of them is that there's misconceptions about, well, here's one, and we'll talk about more of them later, but one of them that people really seem to misunderstand is flow of traffic. People seem to be under the misconception that flow of traffic means that if everyone's doing 130, it's legal to do 130. Guess what? It's not. 130 is speeding. 120 is speeding. 101 is speeding. And if everyone's speeding, then everyone deserves a ticket. There's no legal premise for letting you go, well, if everybody else is doing it. No, that's not how it works. Flow of traffic, the concept is you should be traveling at the flow of traffic, but the flow of traffic should never be exceeding the speed limit. I know. There's rules, misconception, traffic misconception concept. But we'll come back to that. We're going to circle back. I've circled it to suggest we circle back. If you have questions, I've got answers, at least usually. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service, and I go live on social media to answer your traffic and police questions. It's what I do. At least part of what I do. And I love the fact that we've been able to reach out and not touch more people because that would be creepy, but communicate with more people. We have almost 600,000 followers on TikTok. If you don't already follow us, please do. We do this Monday to Friday. And of course, we put up other content, but this is what we really enjoy, which is having this opportunity to speak to you live. Jacob, good morning. And he just had a job interview. He says it went phenomenally. And I hope that is resulting in a job offer for you. Jacob is another regular viewer, participant, friend to the show. Yeah, he's here all the time. And so are many of you. So just a shout out. Being that we're almost at 600,000, and we look forward to being at 600,000. Actually, I look forward to being at 1 million. We don't get anything extra. It's just bragging rights. But if you don't already follow us, please do. On all of our platforms, we're all over the place. If you go to traffichop.ca, you can get links to all of our social media platforms. Why not subscribe to all of them? Just be pretty pleased. The deal is, though, that we get to meet and speak to so many of you. But thank you so much to all of our loyal followers, listeners, viewers. We really appreciate you. This is something that would never have been possible and never was even on my radar that we'd be as successful as we have become. So thank you very much for everyone who spends time with us and asks us questions because, well, it's how it works. If you don't spend time with us, we got nothing to talk about. Okay, Jacob is out. He came to give us an update, and now he's taking a bus. All right. Can drivers use voice commands on a cellular device? Question coming in from Tory Page Change. The answer is sure. Now, I will tell you that there is it's another misconception coming back to roles. This is going to be the misconception episode, I think. There is a belief that hands-free and voice controls means you're not distracted. Distraction happens all over the place. I traveled to Ottawa with TIRF, the Traffic Injury Research Foundation, discussing Drop It and Drive, DIAD. We were talking about all of the issues surrounding distractions. Well, distracted driving isn't just holding a cell phone. It's thinking about holding a cell phone. It's being distracted and daydreaming. It's being it's thinking about changing the tracks or changing the tracks on your stereo. It is even changing your air conditioning is a level of distraction. It just doesn't have a special charge for it. So we talk about, can you use voice commands? Absolutely. Just you have to acknowledge the fact that it's still a distraction, even though it's a legal one. So for your safety, try and avoid using these things. Focus on the drive. But if you got to do it, and I do it, I tell that voice command in the sky to dial my phone to call my wife so she knows I'm on my way. I tell it to program destinations of my GPS, because while GPSs are legal, programming destinations into a phone that's set to GPS, not legal. And that infotainment system that's mounted into your vehicle is magical in many ways, not illegal to use in particular, but does constitute careless driving if you cease to be able to safely operate your motor vehicle while you're futzing around with it. Okay, futz. Futz is a word you may not have heard, but I use the word futz. Okay. If I get pulled over, do they know I have a PAL? We can do certain checks. It doesn't come up as an initial check, but having a PAL and having firearms are different stories. So yes, we can check to see status there. Where to report a non-functional left turn road sensor? Contact 311. 311 is the place to notify the city in most cities for changes, fixes, broken stuff. That's the place. 311. Many people don't know that 311 exists. There was a Maury from 92.5 did a video in this summer about an intersection off King Street, King and I can't remember where, and someone had made a boo-boo and street signs were not making sense, but nobody called 311, and that's what I did after I saw his TikTok, and we got it resolved. Is there a maximum lift height you can do? Well, there's safe, and then there's safety, and my understanding is 3 inches is the maximum you can do without special kits, and I'm not a mechanic. We look for this, or the following. If it's unsafe, if you've chopped your springs or done something that makes it ridiculously tall, or if the wheels are not covered, if there's no mud flaps, those are things I look for. There are people who have more skills than I, mechanics even, that are police officers. We have those. They were mechanics before they became police officers, or they became mechanics after, whatever the case is. Order of operations aside, they know stuff, and MTO people especially, they focus and specialize on that. So check with your mechanic. I would... you can also check with the light truck and passenger vehicle inspection guide, available for free online. Googly-goo that, and you'll probably find the answer to that question. Bumblebee is also a regular viewer, long time no talk. My favorite question, one of my favorite questions, one of the first questions. I think I have that goes with this question. How much faster can you go over the speed limit? How much faster can you go over the speed limit? It's also referred to as the maximum speed. The sign on the roads is max. That's the speed limit. You cannot go over the speed limit in any amount legally. If you choose to go over the limit, expect the ticket. Ticket's what happens when you choose to break the law by exceeding the speed limit. I know. Shocking, right? There is no permissible legal exemption to go beyond the speed limit unless you're police, fire, and ambulance. Police, fire, and ambulance, under certain conditions, can exceed the speed limit. Now, for police, it's any lawful execution of their duties. If it's fire and ambulance, they have to be going to active calls. It really depends on who you are, but they are the only ones who can go over the limit. So what happened was, that's the answer. Are you allowed to use underglow lights? Underglow lights, intended for use in the late 80s to mid-90s. I think that's when they stopped being cool. They're coming back. I don't know why. You can use them. You just can't have the lights visible, the actual bulbs visible. They cannot project outward, only down. The only place you should see the underglow is the ground. You light the ground. Ground effects, right? What is considered defensive versus reckless? I don't know the context, Scott. There is something called reckless driving in the States, a charge. We have something called careless. We also have dangerous, which is criminal code. Defensive driving isn't a legal term. It's a type of driving. So maybe you can ask me or rephrase your question so I can get a better idea of what you're looking for. Apparently in Thunder Bay, there is a lot of underglow. I think that's what you mean, Richard. Richard is also a longtime and regular participant on Twitter, on YouTube now, into the live. By the way, if you're watching on the vertical video, there's also horizontal video if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, or Facebook. Did I mention that we were on all those platforms earlier? Yeah, those are the wide angle shots. You got the vertical shot here. What is the darkest tint that you can get? That also deserves a squeaky toy bicycle horn sound. The reason being is those are the big questions that came up on TikTok when we started, so I like to identify those with a squeaky toy sound. The deal is that the darkest tint you can get for the purposes of safetying your vehicle. In other words, you will fail a vehicle safety if you have more than 30% light blockage. That means 70% of the tint or the light has to get through the tint. Anything more than that, it's unsafe. You wouldn't pass a safety, and the police will pull your plates, and you'll get towed. You can't have any tint on the front windshield. And there's an additional spiel. There's a charge under the HTA that says you cannot, what is the word I'm looking for? Obscure the interior of your motor vehicle with a color or reflective tint. Which means if I can't see you, if I can't see into the driver compartment, the windows left and right of the driver are obstructed or obscured, you're getting a ticket. You're very likely getting a ticket. And that could be less than 30% light blockage. It means that if it's atmospheric conditions, I love saying that, if it's nighttime, if that makes it so you're suddenly invisible, you are immediately illegal. It's a $110 ticket for that, but it's still better than getting your license plates pulled, because that's really an unfortunate situation. Is TPS able to pull you over on highways or only OPP? No, we can pull you over anywhere. We are police officers anywhere in the province of Ontario, so we can pull you over. If there's a sort of a deal. If we're outside of our jurisdiction by more than one jurisdiction, we'll phone a friend. So if I'm on the border or next door, so I'm from Toronto, I go into Peel, I'll still write you a ticket. You'll have to attend a Toronto court. If I'm in the next region, beyond Peel region, I will actually I'll phone a Peel region car or somebody else. Ryan Pinn has weighed in. Ryan Pinn, being a driving instructor from Nova Scotia, says defensive driving is driving in a manner in which you are looking for and avoiding any and all problems that could affect you or another road user. Careless and imprudent driving is the opposite. That's a fantastic description from a driving instructor. I appreciate the input. I still want to know what they actually wanted to know, but it's good. Oh, and there's a volley, and I didn't hear a notification, but I believe that it happened. A volley. There's a Chase Volley. Volley is a platform that we use. It's free. You can jump into our Volley by going to trafficcop.ca. That'll take you to my link tree. I think the first link says, ask me a question on Volley. That's my invitation to join Volley, free app. You can send me video, voice, or text, and let's hear what Chase has to say.
Are you allowed to have a PA system mounted to your truck? And if not, what's the applicable charge and consequences?
Okay. PA system is legal. Siren is not. So if you have a PA system that you can broadcast with, and my old CB used to have it, I had a little speaker that was under the hood, and I could make noise. I could speak to people. It didn't really have any practical use, but I had it. So legal to have. Siren, however, if it's capable of producing a siren sound, that is prohibited. Now, let's see. I actually haven't looked this in a long time. Once upon a time I did, and now I'm curious. Oh, it says download a new version. It's going to take me a couple minutes, 30 seconds. No, it's taking a while. This is Shield. No, it's done. Shield Basic is an app for the iPhone. I don't know if it's available for other applications or platforms, but it does basically make the HTA fuzzy searchable. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for Siren. Have a Siren, $110, 0 points. No vehicle other than an ambulance, fire, or police department vehicle, public utility emergency vehicle, or vehicle operated by the ministry shall be equipped with a siren horn or device producing a sound so nearly resembles that produced by a siren horn as to deceive or confuse. There you go. Interesting stuff. And, well, Shield Basic isn't free. So Chase says Shield Basic is also available on Android, and it has a small cost. I pay a subscription. I think it's $10 for 3 years. We're not talking big money. It is an awesome resource. If you're a police officer in Ontario, and I know they make it for other jurisdictions as well, it is a fantastic tool, and I I actually endorse them. I think they're amazing. I've been using them since for at least 12 years, 10, 12 years. Yeah. What do we have here? Ms. D says, to what point is the brightness of headlights dangerous towards oncoming traffic? Now, do you mean how bright you can have your headlights? Do you mean when you can use your high beams? I'm going to say that I've forgotten the number. Let me look it up. But beam. Let's look up beam because I keep forgetting. I'm not remembering to what the distance is. I think it's behind vehicle. Let's see if I'm right. I think it's 150 meters oncoming and 60 meters behind. Let's see to whether or not I actually remember. Hey, I got 150 meters. So it's 2 demerit points, $110. Fail to use lower beam oncoming when on a highway at any time when lighted lamps are required to be displayed on vehicles. The driver of a motor vehicle equipped with multiple beam headlamps shall use the lower or passing beam when approaching an oncoming vehicle within 150 meters. Okay, now following. Did I say 60 meters? If I said 60 meters, I was right. See, all this stuff locked in here. It's in there. Just need to pry it out sometimes. Okay. It says same thing, but 60 meters. Yeah. All right. Okay. What time of day do we have to turn on our headlights? I believe you have to activate your headlights within a half an hour of sundown and a half an hour after sun up. And now we're looking at what stuff. Who's taken the driving test recently and studied this? Now, okay, got that one cleared. Hello to Adam, who just joined, and Smokes, who just joined. All right. What sound is that? What is that sound? What is that tune that's in my head? Okay. Q&A. Back into the Q&A pool. Hey, since I'm reading other stuff, I might as well use this opportunity to say hi. Hi, how you doing? My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I go live on social media answering your traffic and police questions. I do it Monday to Friday. It's weekdays. It's a weekday thing. Sometimes on the weekend, sometimes in the evening. Occasionally we change now and again. But for the most part, Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Sometimes we start early on Wednesdays to join News Talk 1010 and get the Jerry Agar show to join in. But we'll see. We'll see what's happening this Wednesday. In any case, ask a traffic cop. That's what we do. We answer your traffic and police questions. We are the Toronto Police Traffic Services Unit. I work there. I'm a police officer. Follow us if you don't already follow us, because then you get notified. And you get our thanks. You get part of the family. And if you got more questions and you don't get a chance to ask them now, you can always join our Volley community by going to trafficcop.ca. Ryan Pin confirms 30 minutes before dusk until 30 minutes after dawn. And Richard says 300 candela is the absolute max on highway high beams. I think, actually, Richard, I've got to confirm, but I think that a headlight is starting at 300 candela, because you're allowed to have a maximum of 4 headlights that run at that thing. Let's see if I can search candela. What does it say here? No motor vehicle shall carry on the front thereof more than 4 headlights that project a beam having an intensity over 300 candela. I think 300 candela is actually the headlight rating minimum, but I could be wrong. What about poorly adjusted lights, aka a lifted truck? Master Enzo. So there is actually in the inspection guide a maximum height from the ground that your headlights can be, as well as a minimum distance from the ground that your center of your headlights must be. So that there are charges for improper headlights. I have my F-Class road test Wednesday. Any tips? I have no tips specific to the F-Class. I don't have the F-Class, so I can't tell you anything about that. What I can tell you is get some food, get good sleep, relax, go to the bathroom. You don't want to be hungry, tired, or needing to use the bathroom while you're on any road test. It just creates a stress situation. You don't need stress. You know what you know. So I wouldn't be busy cramming or reading everything 600 times, because at the end of the day, rest is more important and trying to de-stress. But good luck on your road test. It's Amanda. I didn't realize it was Amanda asking. Amanda is an auxiliary officer with Toronto Police, and this unit in particular. So good luck to you. Really, really, that's the ambulance road test. Ryan wants to know, what's an F class? It's just rude. No, it is an ambulance road test because Amanda is becoming a paramedic. By the way, I should mention that although some people choose to become paramedics, other people want to become police officers. And if you are interested in becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service, whether it be in a uniform capacity as a police officer, special constable, what else? We have parking enforcement officers. If that interests you, know that we are looking for good people to join our service. www.tps.ca/careers. Everything you ever wanted to know and more available there, whether it be job postings, qualifications, information on how to join or connect with a recruiting officer. This is where you go. This is what you do. And we, like I said, we are hiring. It's a priority. Oh, I got a message. Hey, I got Nicholas sent a message in Q&A. Okay. Christopher said, what do we got here? Funny stories change how people try to get out of tickets. We could talk about some funny stories. I've talked about them before. Okay. So Nicholas has a good question, and I will answer that one too. Let's start with Nicholas.
Morning, Sean. I hope that you and your coworkers are having a great day. My question is more of a personal question. What inspired you to become a police officer, and how long have you been a police officer for?
Okay, so we'll make this quick because I know it's not a you question. It's a question more about, for anyone who's interested in becoming a police officer, this is relevant. I have been a member of the Toronto Police Service since 2000, so that's 22 years. Ooh, I'm in my 20. Oh, it's a lot. I'm old. 22 years of. I joined. I've been saying 22 years for so long. Is it really longer now that it's 20? Anyway, I joined as an auxiliary officer. There was a hiring freeze. I then became a court officer later the same year and worked as an auxiliary volunteering my time, which is, by the way, an amazing program. If you're interested in a good opportunity, that's the one to go with. Court officer after that was prisoner security or prisoner transport and courthouse security. Did that for a number of years, actually, until I became a police officer, and I became a police officer in 2012. So I became a sergeant with the auxiliary and a supervisor with courts, and then traded those two uniforms in and became a police officer. So now, since 2013 I graduated. 2012, end of 2012, I became a cadet in training, and best career ever. My motivations as to why and how I became, I had wanted to be a cop since I was a kid. I watched Chips in high school, even before that, a 70s show about motorcycle officers, and that was my goal, become a motor cop, and I was a motor cop. I was a motorcycle officer in the motor squad until I was injured in 2018, and I have been in a number of roles and then got into media relations and, of course, here on TikTok out of the last couple of years. So it's been an amazing ride. I wholly endorse this as the best job in the world. And I mean that is policing in whatever form you can do. I think it's a great place with great people doing good work, helping the community. It's a great way to give back. Okay. A question from Billy Wang says, what does the red light camera sign mean? A red light camera sign is there to notify you that a red light is there. I believe it's a regulation, or a regulatory requirement. Before you can have a red light camera posted in the city of Toronto, we require a sign. Not we, but the city. So we have that sign. We warn people. You get that extra warning to not break the law before they ticket you. Now, something about the automated enforcement, and I've got a podcast episode that I've edited and I just need to post. I thought I was going to do it on Sunday, but didn't, so yeah. It's coming out soon. That's an interview with the folks from the automated speed enforcement team. I shouldn't say speed enforcement. It's automated enforcement, including red light cameras. And everything you wanted to know about that will be in that episode. TPS Traffic Jam is the name of the podcast. The video is available on YouTube. You can watch the archive of everything that happened last year. And this will be technically part of last year's interviews. So I guess it's the end of last season. Anyway, check it out. If you don't subscribe to it, you should, because it's great content you can listen to while you're driving. It's available anywhere podcasts are downloadable, like Spotify. You can get it from Anchor. You can get it from, everywhere. So go subscribe. I should check our stats, see if people actually listen to it. No, people listen to it. positive. Okay. What do we got here? We got here. Do I need to have a sticker on my license plate anymore? I know I got rid of them, but I can't remove my old ones. Oh, can I remove my old ones? So, yes, in the province of Ontario, most, not all, most light vehicles do not require license plates anymore. Motorcycles, light trucks, commercial vehicles will still require them in many cases. So, know before you choose not to, because if you don't renew your license plate, and you do have to renew, it's just free and you don't get a sticker. So you can do that by searching on the MTO to find out where and how. Into a window, you check provide them with the information they ask for, and then you're renewed. You get a receipt printed, and of course, we're updated instantly, or so they say. What else do you need to know? You can remove the sticker. I suggest a hairdryer to help you out. What is the weirdest fine you've had to issue? I don't know what weirdest. I don't know what. I don't think there's a weird fine that I've ever given. I think that our fines are way too cheap. That's something for sure. I'm right now having peppermint green tea. Peppermint green tea? I don't know. What's the weirdest fine? They're all pretty much standard. 110 for most offenses. The biggest one's like $615 for driving using your handheld communication device or entertainment device. So that's on the bigger ones. And then there's, of course, the ones that have no fine attached because there's no fixed amount associated. It's whatever the courts determine. They have ranges. Like if you charge someone for drive no insurance, it's between $5,000 and $25,000. If you charge someone with stunt, it's between $2,000 and $10,000. Up to the courts. Okay. If highway traffic speed slows quickly, are hazards okay? Mark wants to know. I am not a person who suggests using hazards for anything other than being an immovable object at the side of the road. Hazard lights are beacons to say, I am stuck. I am not moving. When you are moving with hazards, I think it's deceiving. It's not a good idea. Is it illegal? Not that I'm aware of. Although somebody said that Kerry Schmidt's telling people that it is illegal. I'm not aware of whatever law he's citing, although it may be accurate. I would suggest that brake lights tell people you're slowing down if traffic slows, so use your brakes. That's what you should use. Ryan Pinn says he knows some weird fines. He knows that the HTA says you can't race horses on the 401. Is that something that's laid often? I've never laid it. I've never heard of anyone laying it, but it's true. There's so many laws on the books that are weird, but I've never laid that one. What do I have to do if I get pulled over? Scott Massey 1. Is it Massey or Mass? The deal is that when you're pulled over, if you see lights and sirens, if you see the lights and you hear the sirens, pull over to the nearest curb or edge of roadway. In most cases, we want you to the right side. On some divided highways, multi-lane divided highways, to get emergency vehicles through, left may be the closest place, so go there. And if we don't like it, we'll tell you to go somewhere else. In any case, when you are pulled over, a demand for license ownership and insurance will be made, and you must comply. You must surrender those documents. If you don't, there's tickets can be issued for each one of those. If you're in Ontario, if you're in Canada, there's something called mandatory alcohol screening. So even if you have no indicators of being impaired, you can be read a demand for a sample of your breath, and you must comply. Same as a testing for your for marijuana or a standard field sobriety test. If you are read a demand for any of those things, you must comply. And if you don't comply, you could be arrested and charged under the Criminal Code of Canada. So that's a thing. What else can I tell you about? But that's really all you have to do, other than follow the directions. What do we have here? Why isn't impaired a permanent loss of license? I don't know. I think they give people chances. I don't know why. That's not a me thing. Why? And maybe this is a good question for Sergeant Campbell, who is approaching. Why isn't impaired driving a lifetime ban? Why do they give people chances?
You know what? I can't answer that. We're just the ones that enforce the laws. We don't decide they're guilty or their penalties. So
But it's an interesting question. I mean, certainly that. But as much as it's nice on paper to take something away from somebody, we suspend licenses. That doesn't always stop drivers. People choose to drive while under suspension and get more charges.
Absolutely. We heard one this weekend that had been suspended multiple times and got caught again.
Get out.
So, yeah.
It's well, I guess if you don't follow the rule that got you in trouble in the first place, there's no expectation that you're going to follow the rules that are imposed afterwards.
Well, some people would think that. Others, don't, and give the benefit of that to the offender. So, you know what? That's the justice system we have here in Canada. Good or bad, I think our justice system is pretty good. It does have some faults. Sometimes they don't get it right. But all things considered, compared to, my own opinion, the rest of the world, we're doing pretty good.
We are definitely better than everybody else. To our fans who are from around the world, and we do have people internationally. We have people from Ireland. We have people from the Netherlands. We have all sorts of people from around the world who watch the show. So we're not actually saying we're better than you. We're the same but different.
Yeah, no.
But our laws seem to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good, and we have the best deal on tickets too.
That is true. We are the lowest fines in Canada
for the same offense.
Yes.
I don't know.
You run a stop sign here, it's $110. You run a stop sign in BC, I think it's $400.
Wow.
That's 75% discount.
Yeah.
Just don't do it here, because you know what? People are getting hurt because some people are choosing not to be safe. Chase has left a message. Chase. This is the second one for Chase today.
Do the OPP or TPS share any kind of radio stream? As an example, if TPS was near the 401 and OPP needed other police to come out and you guys were near there, would you come out to that kind of call on the 401?
Or do we not communicate like that? I took it away from the microphone a little early. There are bands that are capable of sharing interagency, but they would call our dispatcher, and our dispatcher would dispatch us. We wouldn't take a call saying, "Hi, I'm from the OPP," and we wouldn't do that.
Right, and it's nice actually having dispatcher-to-dispatcher conversations, because our dispatchers can manage our units over here, where the OPP dispatch can manage their units, and we can coordinate. Sometimes it's an awful lot of chess pieces going around that we have to make sure that we're not all doing the same thing, and we have all angles covered. So, yep, you know what, we back them up quite a bit, and they back us up quite a bit. So
because we're all on the same team.
Yeah,
we're all police, all people trying to help people. That's all we do. Is reporting police on the Waze app allowed? It's not illegal. It's not a speed detection system. It's a police location thing, and we actually appreciate that people might slow down when we're working on the road to be safe. Notifying police that the presence of police is different than saying they're actively doing speed enforcement, which could get closer to causing a problem. At the end of the day, it's not illegal, and I don't really have a problem with it, because we just get to hide better.
Right. You know what? It's good and it's bad. Yes, it lets people know that we're there, which could hopefully slow people down and have them move over to make it safer for us and the people who are out there helping. But unfortunately, it causes the bad drivers, the speeding drivers, to slow down for a temporary period of time, not get caught, and then go back to speeding again and increase the risk again. So.
The deal is that we want to catch speeders so we can change their behavior. If you get around being caught, you don't get that negative experience, and that's what we're going for. We want you to have a not-so-nice experience so you don't do it again. When you avoid the negative of getting a ticket and having your insurance rates go up and your license work one more step towards suspension, you don't change your behavior. You just temporarily do it, meaning you continue to make the roads unsafe for other people. And we're trying to make the roads safe for every people.
Every people?
Every people. Every people. Make a song. I got to make it work. We're trying to make the road safe for everyone, not just drivers, but pedestrians, cyclists, vulnerable road users of all kinds. And that's a team effort. We need everyone to be on board for that. Akela Jaconis, welcome, says, greetings and salutations. He apologizes for his late arrival and asks that people don't post on Waze while they are driving. And that is a very valid point. Utilizing Waze while you're driving could be careless or distracted depending on how you're inputting that information. So it could be illegal to do, but not necessarily illegal the act. So you have your co-pilot do it.
So it could be illegal to do, but it could also be not illegal to do.
It's very confusing, isn't it?
Right.
Is it illegal to own a speed scanner? Do you mean a speed detection device like a radar detector, or do you mean a radar gun for measuring speed? Because you can buy those for sports. You want to figure out how fast the ball is going. That's something that's legal. It's not illegal to own. It is illegal to own a speed detection device. So, a radar detector is illegal.
Yes.
You can't own, possess, use, transport. Can't sell, can't buy. Absolutely regulated, as well as jammers. Jammers fall under the same category, and it's $170, 2 demerit points, but it's the big. I need a drum roll button. There's expanded authorities under the HTA.
Yeah, that expanded authorities is pretty wide-reaching. Allows us to search you and all your car, like every part of your car. And sometimes that means taking your car apart to do such a thing, to find it. Because people hide it, and people have it built into their car, and you know what? The unfortunate thing for you is you may get it seized, you may get the ticket, and you may have to put your car back together because we don't have to.
Yes, so bring your tools. A couple of good things popped in here. One, can a cop tell me to roll windows up for tints? So you've got your windows down, and we want to test and check your windows. So actually, we are entitled to inspect your vehicle for that purpose, for mechanical, and that's part of a mechanical test.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if we ask you to put your step on the brake to check your brake lights, pop your hood, yep, we can do a complete inspection of your vehicle. And if you refuse to do it, there is an offense.
Yes. Now, Chase asked me, is a jammer not different? Isn't there a different thing for that? And it actually, the wording gets into the deep of anything that interferes with the ability for police to enforce speed laws. And I don't have the full wording for that section because it's in the HTA proper and not the short form wording for that. But there is it does fall into the same category. And short form wording can be modified. It's the same section.
Right. Short form wording is what we write on the tickets. It's just suggested wording. And it doesn't have to be used exactly there as well. It just needs to, you need to know the act that you've contravened, the section number that you've contravened, and kind of a description of what you did that was wrong.
Ryan Pinn wants to know about the possibility of having a car manufactured with the same stuff as the B-2 bombers so the radar can't detect you. I don't know if radar absorbing paint or surfaces fall under the same category of jammer or detector. That's interesting.
Yeah, you know what? And unfortunately, it would not work so much with laser.
This is true.
So a laser is a very pinpoint accurate on any forward-facing surface. So you know what? You need a license plate on the front. That's pretty forward-facing.
Yeah,
it has to be there. So it's flat and it works great for radar or for laser.
Indeed. Does an undercover cop have his car marked police? Undercover is truly not identifying as a police officer. So it would be a bad plan to have police marked on their vehicle. Now, if you mean plain clothes or if you mean a stealth car, then the answer is no. They don't have to have it listed or marked because it's not a marked vehicle. So, interesting question.
We have quite a few cars, especially our Vision Zero enforcement team out there have quite a few cars that you would never know. Minivans, pickup trucks, SUVs, you'd never know. And sometimes people don't know and
they get caught.
They find out the hard way.
When the Christmas tree goes off. It's really amazing lighting that they have. For a car that has no marked bar or anything like that. It's all over the place. How does shifts work for dispatchers for TPS? I think they have two sets, one that works a compressed, and I don't know what they do, but another one that does 12-hour shifts. And I don't know exactly, but you know who does? Employment. That would be, hey, it's Aaron, stranger. Aaron Urquhart, TPS _Bikehart, just walked into the studio space. Haven't seen you since last year.
I know.
Oh, my goodness. Maybe we'll get you on this week.
It's a rough start to the year.
I heard Aaron was not feeling well. Aaron was sick, but not COVID?
No.
Not COVID, but just sick.
Respiratory tract infection.
Oh, lovely. Welcome back. Glad that you are feeling better, right?
Yes.
And not contagious?
You know what? Just wait over there.
Stay over there.
Yeah.
It's not viral, I promise.
She claims she is not viral. What do we have? Is a speed laser gun blocker on cars a real thing? A speed laser gun blocker. There are jammers, and I think that's what you mean, and that's something that projects a beam that suggests you're traveling at a different speed than you actually are. Those do functionally send that information, and they're really easy to figure out that you're not doing what it says it is. Police officers are not just waiting for the machine to tell us how fast you're going. We're making visual observations on our own and just use a laser device to confirm our observations. If everyone around you is doing 70 or 80 and you're doing 50 because that's what your machine says you're doing, that's a clue. That is a clue. And we'll rip that off your car and seize it because, that's what we do. Somebody asking about, can police enter a consulate or embassy? I don't know the details of that. I assume there's very special rules and regulations around that. Obviously, if they're calling for help, I imagine we're going. But I don't know the deal around that.
Yeah, they are considered foreign soil. They are under the laws and jurisdiction of the country that it represents. Yes, we do assist them all the time. Downtown, we have quite a few embassies and consulates, and we do assist them. We do go in. We do investigations there. But yeah, each one is different. So, in other words,
Depends.
Our RCMP do have a liaison unit though that work with all of them. So sometimes we just pass it over to them.
Cool. And they have, and RCMP have a local office here in Toronto.
Yeah.
An 800 number is calling me. I'm not answering it. I have my G1. What happens if I get pulled over? Well, really, it depends on who's sitting next to you. Things change dramatically. See, if you get pulled over with a G1 because you're breaking the law and you're following all the other rules, you may or may not get a ticket. That's going to depend on how that stop goes. If you have a G1 and you're driving without a accompanying qualified supervising G-class driver, then you have a whole bunch of charges because you're going to get a charge for G1 drive unaccompanied. You are likely getting a tow truck to drive your vehicle home because you are not a qualified licensed driver to drive solo. You're going to get a 30-day suspension. You're going to get, at least on your first conviction, a second conviction will get you a 90-day suspension. A third conviction will get you kicked out of the driving program. You'll have to start all over again. Any time accrued in your process will be, abandoned. You'll start again from zero. What else? If you get into a collision, you get no insurance coverage for that vehicle because you're an unlicensed driver effectively. And if you took that vehicle with the consent of the owner, you are going to make sure that, they are going to get charged under the HTA for letting you drive in violation of a condition. If you took the vehicle without consent, mom and dad left the keys in the counter, you took it for a joyride, then you get charged with something called take vehicle without consent. We're making a lot of words without it. And that's a criminal charge.
And you know what? Going forward, I bet you the rest of your life you're going to be paying through the nose for insurance.
Premium. Can new G1 drivers practice in empty parking lots? Technically speaking, an empty parking lot that is private property, we can't lay a charge for driving without a license or driving in violation of a condition. We can charge for stunt driving, but here's the funny thing. You have to get to the parking lot. How does one get to a parking lot without a qualified driver in the passenger seat? And there lies the rub. You have violated somewhere a rule. So, yeah.
And you also have to have permission to be on that property because it's private property. Mm-hmm. And you also can't put other people in danger. So by the actions there, and you're driving and you're putting other people in danger because you're not very good at it and there's lots of people around, it could be considered dangerous driving, and that is a criminal charge and arrest. But technically speaking, at G1, no problem at all. You don't actually need a driver's license.
On private property.
On private property.
Mm-hmm. So no charge for that, but what you do might result in charges, like stunt driving or dangerous driving, or if you get into a collision, you're still responsible for the collision. So you be careful. Be careful.
You know what? We still write tickets to people that don't have licenses.
Mm-hmm. And you get a license number generated for you.
Yeah, we'll give you a license number that'll stick with you for...
ever.
Yes.
Are light bars illegal? Light bars is pretty vague. There could be the woo-woo light bar, like a police light bar. There could be a light bar that just shines off-road light forward. It's not really directed the way a headlight bulb would be. Neither of those are legal for the road.
No, they are definitely not. Even the small LED ones that come, you have to read them. They're not DOT compliant. And having too many of them, you're only allowed 4 lighted at one time.
4 lights forward-facing, projecting more than 300 candela of power.
Right.
We talked about that earlier.
So that would be an off-road only use.
Yes. I've yet to see a light bar that has the level of adjustment available to focus and adjust a bulb beam to make it safe. And even then, the angle at which it's projecting, I would say it's not possible.
Now, if you're talking driving lights, you want to replace your driving lights that are fitted on your car with, say, LED ones. Yeah, some of them can be done. It does have to meet DOT standards, but yeah, it can do. You know what? You don't really want to blind the people that are coming towards you.
It's problematic.
It's nice being able to see, but if you blind the people coming towards you, they may crash into you.
You might meet them in the middle.
Yeah.
Ryan Pinn says, man, I wish the police would use something like a 98 Dodge Neon as an unmarked. No one would suspect a thing. Yeah, but would it get to where it's going? I don't know. Hi from Saskatchewan. Isn't there a 10% speedo error allowance? Actually, no. There's no permissible limit over, like, this is talking about speeding. Can you go 10% over the limit without being charged? You can argue that in court, but getting the ticket for speeding is still your ticket to get.
Yep, absolutely. That's your indicator of what speed you think you're going.
Yeah.
We have the indicators that give us your exact speed you're going, but that only allows us to set a fine for you. We need to know you're speeding to start with.
And speeding is anything over the speed limit.
Right, absolutely.
Now, additionally, you talk about speed accuracy. A speedo is only accurate or truly accurate at certain speeds. There is a gap at certain points, but they underreport. So if it says you're doing 100, you might be doing 99. We measure you from the outside of your vehicle for your actual speed. So most speedometers are factoring in for that 10% already.
And any modification, any change in your tires, any change in anything on your car can affect that as well.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't change the fact that you are responsible for what speed the vehicle is actually traveling at. Fastest you caught someone going. I don't know. I don't keep score. I have a picture from somebody that I can't show you because it's on the phone. I'm going to post it on TikTok, Twitter actually after the show, and it was like 175 on the Gardner on Friday or Saturday.
I did hear about that one. Yeah.
And that was one of our friends, Sean Robertson. He's a police officer here at Traffic Services who has been on our show before. He's going to come on and do a podcast soon talking about impaired driving. He just recently became either a breath tech or a drug recognition expert. I don't remember if it was one or both.
I do remember one of the officers on my platoon had somebody on radar well over 200 going up the Don Valley Parkway and getting on to the Highway 404. So going from a city highway to a provincial highway. The one thing about that, no matter how fast you go, you eventually have to come to the end of the road. And we have radios, and we can call a friend, York Region and the OPP were more than happy to help.
And they have helicopters.
Yeah. No, the officer eventually just followed him, kept following, and got him up in Newmarket. And it was a long way to go, but
well worth the drive.
Well worth the drive.
We had, I know that the OPP in the last couple of years or a couple of years ago got someone at 305 roughly in a Mercedes sedan.
Yeah, and I think he was a G1 driver.
I think he was.
Yeah.
Not wise. Is my 8-inch windshield banner illegal? Anything that is posted and interferes with the driver's ability to see, and that is not based on the driver's opinion, but the opinion of the police and safety, is that if it's anywhere in the sweeping area of a windshield, that's a pretty good indication that it's illegal.
Yeah, so a rule of thumb I use is if the windshield wiper touches it at all, yes, it is blocking.
I think that's a good way to go. I'd never thought of that until you mentioned it. I think it's really good. Okay, we have 6 minutes to go. Let's see here. Increase the left turn time limit at Wilson Avenue Road. Mel, that is a great suggestion. I don't know what it is now, but I can tell you that I have nothing to do with that. What you should do is call 311 and make that suggestion and tell them the safety reason why. If it's preventing the reasonable flow of traffic because it's not long enough, ask them for a study. And ask everyone you know that knows about this problem to ask them for a study because squeaky wheels tend to get the grease. But it's not a police thing. I do appreciate the concern. I know that some intersections, they were set when traffic volume in that area just wasn't big, and now it is, and things have to be changed. Richard says, you can't outrun the radio. And Diggs, by the way, 7 says, hey, what's up, G? Not much, just chilling. Okay. Do American police certifications transfer? No. You could become a police officer in Canada if you become a resident. You don't have to be a citizen in Canada, or at least not in Ontario, to be a police officer, but you do have to be a permanent resident, and you can apply. But the certification there will likely not hold here because everyone who is a police officer in Ontario and every province has to go through training for that area. So I can be a police officer anywhere in the province of Ontario with the certification from the Ontario Police College. However, that is only the only way to do it. There have been from other police services in Canada a sort of a quickie update short version, but I don't know if that would apply to American officers.
Right. Certain police colleges around our country, the training is taken on par with an update to more provincial type laws. Anybody from the U.S., their laws are so different.
Oh, yeah.
The liabilities are different down there. The laws are different down there. The statutes are different down there. They would have to come up here. And yes, they'd be given credit for their service, but they would have to learn a whole new set of rules.
And it's a lot of fun, so just go to do the school again. That was like a huge amount of fun. I loved it. If you are interested in becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service, check out www.tps.ca/careers. All the information you ever wanted to know. And you know what? For your situation in particular, contact a recruiter because they'll be able to give you all the information that we don't have answers to. They are the pros when it comes to becoming a member of the service. We are hiring significant numbers this year and the years to come. Vision requirements on the same theme of becoming a police officer with Toronto. What's the vision requirement to be a police officer? The answer is 20/40 uncorrected binocular vision, and you must have color acuity. So you can't be colorblind.
Look at you.
Yeah, I remember this stuff. But you have to be able to have 20/40 uncorrected. So without your glasses, both eyes, 20/40. Anything outside of that, you could challenge it with doctors. If they failed you on the test, you can take it to the doctor and you can have that discussion. Don't know if that'll work, but there is a route there. Because there are people that have one eye that have been able to, I understand, to get on.
I'm a little disappointed, Sean. That was my dad joke of the day. I said, you're talking about vision requirements? I said, wow, look at you. And it went right over your head there.
And then here is you just reminded me about dad jokes because I have dad jokes. January 7 and 8, that's the Saturday, Sunday dad joke from my calendar that my wife bought me so that we could have dad jokes on the show. So, dad joke number 1, because we have 2 today. Question, what is a lumberjack's favorite style of beer? Lager.
I was going to say that, but it was way too easy.
That snow pun was great. I see what you did there. And the one for January 9th. Dad, how good are you with PowerPoint? Oh, I excel at it. But I do need the drum roll. We need a drum roll.
All right, let's find one.
I got to find a drum roll. Okay. It is 10:58. Thank you for spending time with us. We are back tomorrow at 10 a.m. There is a question here that I will answer before, just because Earth Wanderer wants to know. And I think it's a good question. Have you ever caught any real bad guys? So it's a 2-part thing. One, as a traffic cop, I have stopped many, many traffic violators, who were doing bad things that put people's lives at risk. Real people, real lives, really bad actions. Are they bad people? Maybe no. But they were doing things that were dangerous. And I prevented the potential loss of life or injury by interfering with their driving. Hopefully it changed them forever. But prior to becoming a police officer at Traffic Services, I was a divisional officer, and I did arrest people for various things, assaults and all sorts of criminal offenses. I've even been, although not an active investigator on it, I've been involved in murder investigations. I stood at a scene for hours. I've never worked as a detective in that role, but have you ever put bad people away?
Yep. And you know what? Everybody has a potential for being bad. Yes, people that I've investigated have been caught. I worked in a number of different units. I've been undercover. I've been plainclothes. I've been street crime. I've been in the detective office. I have worked as a stint, actually working on one homicide with the homicide squad. I've done a lot of stuff. I've arrested a lot of people. I put a lot of bad people into jail. But you got to remember that traffic crimes, traffic fatalities, and traffic injuries affect more people in Canada than all the other crimes
Combined.
You know what? Losing a loved one to whatever means is
Tragic.
heartbreaking, and it's more heartbreaking when it's not needed.
Well, it's no death is acceptable, but you know, many of the people in violent crimes are somehow in an element of lifestyle. Very often, you hear about gang-related things, criminal elements taking you know, it out on each other. For always, there's innocence as well, but people tend to be really outraged by gun violence and violent crime. But somehow they find it acceptable for people to get killed in traffic collisions, and I would argue that it's the other way around. People who are being killed just trying to get to work, trying to get home, trying to put food on the table, those are the worst deaths. And then, of course, the people who are involved with violent crime, the victims of violent crime that are not involved in that lifestyle, that's tragic. Any death is tragic, but the ones that bother me more are the traffic ones for some reason. Oh well. There was a question earlier that I said I would get to and I didn't get to, and it was about exhausts. And somebody got a ticket for a non-factory exhaust. And I think that's for a different jurisdiction because you can have a non-factory exhaust here in Ontario. It just has to be legal for the road.
Yes, it just has to comply with the legislation here. Aftermarket exhausts, as long as it's not excessively noisy, as long as it complies with everything, is not a problem. Now, an aftermarket exhaust is obviously meant for make your car breathe an awful lot more. If you haven't done the equal amount of work on your engine, it's actually detrimental to your engine to have a bigger, freer flowing exhaust. We need a little bit of back pressure. People don't understand that. And you get these cars with the backfires and things like that.
Burls.
You know what? You're not going any faster. In fact, you're probably going slower.
And you sound ridiculous.
And if you have made modifications to your engine, some of them legal, some of them not legal, aftermarket exhausts are kind of a clue to us investigators that maybe we should be having a look under the hood as well.
Yes, the ultimate vehicle to avoid the heat is one that's a sleeper, that goes fast, but no one knows about it. And that's probably the better option if you were trying to have a performance vehicle. The one that screams so everyone looks at you, well, we look at you too.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody likes it because you are littering in terms of sound. And it is one of the number one complaints the city receives annually. Noise complaints, which is a $110 fine for unnecessary noise. It could be your exhaust system, your stereo, your horn, any noise coming out of your vehicle. I don't know if bad singing, if you're a karaoke star, I don't think that applies. But last question, because it's an important one. William Wallace wants to know, how do you report online bullying from TikTok? Well, TikTok is actually an amazing platform when it comes to this. You have an online reporting tool. Report the comments, screenshot them. Now, I say screenshot them for different reasons. You can online report, and it will actually tag. And I've had many, many people have success with reporting these people, and they get banned. Not only can they be banned under that user account, they can actually get banned by the point of having that device no longer be capable of being on TikTok at all. So that's a real deal. Additionally, the screenshot's really good because if there's a potential that person, if they're threatening to hurt you, could be local and could be real. So that's where you could take it to the police and make an actual report. The TikTok, the company, the platform, actually liaises with police. So the police service can contact TikTok and get real information to investigate that crime of the threats. So bullying is one thing, threats of death are another. Both are taken very seriously. That is the show. Thank you so much for spending time with us. We are back tomorrow, 10 a.m. I leave you, like I always leave you, with this magical song written and performed by a police officer from Traffic Services. It's the traffic song. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get freed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.